साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो
Evening, everyone. Evening, Rishi. Wow, he's got his backdrop there. Rishi just zoomed in at the last minute and fully teched himself up. Welcome, Rishi. Lovely to have you with us tonight.
Good evening, Lynn. It's very nice to be here.
Yeah, and we have Chaitanya helping in the background there as well with our tech stuff. So what we're here tonight for is basically to have a nice meditation together. And also just to delve a little bit more deeply into our subtle energy system. So we talked last week about the left side, and we had a little excerpt of a longer talk by Shri Mataji. So tonight we're going to talk about the right side, which has had a bit of a bad rep, but I think we're going to undo that bad rep business about right side. There's some really good things about the right side. But before we go into that, maybe we can just enlighten those who are here for the first time and wondering what the heck we're talking about. So we have a slide of this subtle energy system, which says a lot about our life and our lives and the whole of humanity, which when you first see it, you think, well, it's an esoteric thing of chakras and might be just us, but it's not, it's everyone. We're all connected, and all the different countries and cultures and religions and everything's all in there. But Rishi, I'm sure you'll be able to enlighten us a bit more about this. I'd like to hear your point of view on this. So what I'll do is I'll just share that subtle system chart, and maybe you can kind of give us some enlightening words about that. Sure you can. Now, let me just get the right screen up here. Not that screen. This one here. As soon as you're online, your mouse won't behave. Now, here it is. It's a green one over here. And I'm just going to share that. Can you see that? Oh, it's not looking really good. Let me just make that box go in the right place. There we are. So we've got everything there. Rishi, can you see it, or you're blinded by?
No, we can see it. And I think this shows the 7 energy centers and the 3 channels as part of our subtle system.
Yes.
So and I think you've talked about this previously on the program, is that we all have a physical body, and this is the body that we can feel and that we all used to associating with ourselves. But we also have this inner body that we haven't spent a lot of time associating with ourselves. And this is something that has been talked about in all the different scriptures and all the different cultures from thousands and thousands of years ago. And getting to understand how our physical body and our spiritual body interact with each other, and how they actually feed off each other, and then how that then manifests with us as humans in our personality, in our actions, in our belief system, and how we can actually use the subtle energies within us to then further drive our lives forward. Is one of the great opportunities of learning about Sahaja Yoga. Is you get to learn not just about the meditation, but also how to use the subtle system within us to enhance our meditations, but also our lives forward.
Yeah, because it's a lot more when you say you're coming here online to meditate. There's a lot more going on in the background, front ground, center ground than just meditating. And what is meditation is something to feel and experience as opposed to mentally understand.
That's right. And I think this chart does a really good job of just highlighting what are some of the key areas that perhaps if we focus on will help us in our meditation, but also back in our everyday lives.
Yeah. And really that everything, this was just a thought I had. Let's run it past you, Rishi, what you think. That everything we see and react to and is happening is actually us, ourselves. So we shouldn't, although we do, look at everything that's happening and think, oh, that's why, I'm not progressing in life because of all these people doing that, and those people are doing that, and they're doing this, and they're doing, but it's actually everything's in us. If we can see it, we're it. Do you think that's going too far, or what do you feel?
So that's a really interesting perspective. And I guess you're right in the way that everything that we take in through our senses and our visual senses, right, everything that we see, eventually are signals that our brain interprets as electrical signals. So we always have a perception within us of what is outside,
Yeah,
because what outside is real, but our brain creates an image of what it thinks it's seeing and what it thinks it's feeling and what it thinks it's tasting as part of its the perception that the brain builds. And then on top of that, our thoughts cause a reaction. And
mm.
so we end up reacting to that perception that the brain has built based on the inputs it's received from our senses.
And so is that reaction on the right side or on the left side? Because when we were
Oh,
on the left side last week,
yeah.
we touched on that point that reacting to things is because of various conditionings and memories and things that we've done and experienced in the past. So then the reaction comes, but the actual effect, the reaction, is that a right side thing?
And so while the left side reactions are around what did I do in the past and I shouldn't have done that and this particular situation is triggering, the reactions on our right side are very much around the future.
Yeah,
I would love to plan things this way, and why aren't things happening the way I had planned them?
yeah,
And um, and so you're constantly thinking about what could be.
yeah,
And then the other institution, and this is what's shown in this diagram as part of that yellow channel. So the yellow channel in this diagram is our right side. And on the top of that is this balloon, the yellow balloon in our head, that we commonly call our ego.
yeah.
And it seems like the job of our ego is to create all these reactions based on what it thinks and the perceptions of the world that we see around us. When you sort of interact that with the objective of the ego, which is to distract us from the center, right? It is to take us further into the right. Um, that's where a lot of these reactions about the future and what I would like to be, and somebody's doing something else, and I don't like it, and so a lot of that INS comes in, and that takes us away from being centered or being in a state of calm because our brain is creating these reactions and moving away from the physical into this artificial part of the brain called the mind,
Yeah.
which we know is not real because there is no biological part of our body called the mind.
Oh, somewhere there in the brain, though, isn't it?
Well, and that's the thing. It's a perception of the world, right? It's perception of everything that it's seeing and feeling.
So all these
Um,
thoughts are coming as little bubbles, and they're not actually landing anywhere. They're just all around us, and picked up here and there.
That's right. And I think this is the beauty of Sahaja Yoga because what I've learned through practicing meditation is that these thoughts, as they come in, either they come from the left side, so about our past and um, or they're coming in from the right side, which is about our future and what I would like to be as an individual. Um, None of that is real
Yeah,
because it's all a figment of creation of the mind as a result of a reaction to what we are perceiving around us,
yeah.
or a thought that comes in as a result of a stimuli. So if you sort of look at all these thoughts, they're not real. And the only thing that's real in that particular moment is silence and us just watching what's happening and what's us just feeling what's happening. So taking in all those inputs as part of our senses But instead of letting our thoughts get the better of us in the form of a reaction, if we are able to just pause and watch and not react, we are often in a state to make better decisions and better interactions with everything around us.
And even, well, of course, self-realization is the way we get to the silence between the thoughts, but there's still a letting go of the need to correct the thoughts, detachment from the thoughts. So there's some thoughts there and you think, oh, I'm going to correct that thought because that's really wrong or something. You've got to go, oh, there's that thought, and let it go, rather than being attached to those thoughts that have come and gone. But maybe just to get out of thinking about the thoughts, we go into meditation, which is self-realization, and then it's the shorter form of self-realization as we go on in our day-to-day life. But maybe we'll bring everyone on that journey and go through that first realization to get us into that thoughtless state, so we can move along a bit into that, out of the thought process.
Yeah, definitely. So if we can get everybody to be comfortable with wherever you're sitting, and make sure that you're able to keep some connection with the ground. So if you're sitting on a chair, that's perfectly fine. Keep your feet onto the ground. So if you have shoes on, you may wish to take those off for that connection to the ground. And the reason why the ground is so important in Sahaja Yoga, the Mother Earth element is so important, is because it really grounds us. And it reminds us with regards to what's our place in this universe, and that we are a part of this world and part of this creation and part of this nature. And in addition to that, the Mother Earth also helps us with balance. And so if we're getting too much into our left or too much into our right, just keeping that humility and feeling the earth helps us with that balance. So make sure you have your feet on the ground. And what we'll do, we'll start off with keeping our left hand on our lap. So our left hand stays on our lap. And we'll put our right hand on the various different energy centers.
So I'm just putting this chart up here with the hand positions.
That's perfect. And so we'll go through the affirmations for each of the locations. As you can see, there are 9 locations that we'll put our right hand on during this process. And we'll keep our eyes closed. But at any stage, if you think that you're not quite sure where your hand is supposed to be, just quickly open your eyes, have a look at the positioning at the time, and then bring your attention back inside by closing your eyes and continue with the process. So our first hand location is on our heart, and that's obviously on the left side of our body, because all our hand positions are primarily on the left side of our body. Our second hand position is on the left side of our stomach, so right under our rib cage. Then we move our right hand to where our left leg meets our hip. So that's our third position. Then for the fourth position, we move our right hand back to the left side of our stomach, which is it's right under our rib cage. Then for the fifth position, we move back to our heart. For the sixth one, we'll take it to our left shoulder where it meets our neck. And we'll just tilt our head a little bit on the right-hand side so it's nice and comfortable. And it's got a slight little stretch to it. For our seventh position, we'll put our hand on our forehead and we'll just cup our forehead and lean into our hand. So you want to have a nice, relaxed head position, and you want to be able to cup your forehead using your right hand. For the eighth position, we do the same thing, but just at the back of our hand. So we put our hand at the back of our head and we'll just tilt our head up a little bit with our eyes closed. And the last position, we stretch our hand so our fingers are nice and tight. We'll put the base of the hand, our palm, on our fontanelle bone area, which is our area top of our head. We'll apply pressure and we'll rotate that area clockwise with some affirmations. So that's the process we will go through. So if we can all close our eyes and let's bring our attention inside ourselves. We've probably all had a pretty big day. So let's see if we can leave our day outside of this process for a few minutes. And bring your attention inside. And this is where we truly get to know ourselves for a few minutes. And we spend some time with ourselves for a few minutes. And we'll take 3 deep breaths. And we'll take our right hand and we'll put it on our heart. And our Kundalini energy here responds to our affirmations. And so the first affirmation we'll say to our Kundalini energy, which is our mothering and nurturing energy within all of us, is, Mother, am I the pure spirit? Mother, am I the pure spirit? Now let's take our hand to the left side of our stomach, right under our rib cage. And the affirmation here is a question. Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own master? And then taking our hand to where our left leg meets our hip. Now, this center is really important in us establishing our meditation. And so the affirmation for this center is a prayer to our Kundalini. Mother, please give me the pure knowledge. Mother, please give me the pure knowledge. Then we bring our hand back to the left side of our stomach, just under the rib cage. And here we'll answer our previous question. And with the pure knowledge that our Kundalini has given us about ourselves, now let's confidently say, I am my own master, and I am my own teacher. We'll move our hand back to the left side, to our heart. And the affirmation here is answering our previous question. I am the spirit. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am the pure spirit. Now let's move our hand to where our left shoulder meets our neck, and we'll just tilt our head a little bit on the right hand side, just so it's nice and relaxed with a slight stretch. Now here the affirmation is for us to calm ourselves down inside. Mother, I am not guilty. Mother, I am not guilty for anything that I have done. Because the guilt feeling doesn't solve anything. It's important to get rid of that feeling. Now let's take our right hand and put it across our forehead. We'll just cup our forehead and just lean our head into our forehead, nice and relaxed. Mother, I forgive everyone and I forgive myself. Now this is essential for our mind to calm, so we can find that balance between our left side and our right side. Mother, I forgive everyone and I forgive myself. Taking our hand to the back of our head and just leaning our head in our hand and just tilting our neck up a little bit. Mother Kundalini, if I have made any mistakes in my seeking and in my journey, please forgive me. And this affirmation also helps get rid of that guilt. Mother Kundalini, if I have made any mistakes in my journey or in my seeking, please forgive me. And then the last step is we take our hand, we'll stretch our fingers up, and we'll put our palm on top of our head. We'll apply a bit of pressure, and as we just bend our head a little bit, we'll say the affirmation, Mother, please establish my self-realization. And we'll say that 7 times. And each time we say it, let's just do a rotation of the palm across the top of our head. So we like rubbing it in a rotation. So we'll do that 7 times. And when you finish, just raise your hand up a couple of inches above the top of your head. See if you can feel a cool or maybe a warm breeze coming up on top of your head. It might be slightly closer or a little bit further away. So just see if you can find that spot where it's coming out. May wish to try it with the other hand as well, the left hand, to see if there's a difference in the sensation on the left hand compared to the right. And now when you finally find that spot, take your attention to that spot where your hand is. And see if you can establish your attention in that spot. So even as you bring your hand down on your lap, your attention stays up a few inches above the top of your head. And if you're feeling that you're getting any thoughts, especially reactions, see if you can just ignore them. Don't get involved in them. And you'll find that the Kundalini energy will slowly push them away. And if your attention starts to jump about, that's okay. Just bring it back up inside of yourself and back up to the top of your head. And just remember, you are in control of your attention. Your attention is not in control of you. So bring it back up and keep it in that space of silence that the Kundalini energy has created for you. Well, hopefully everybody was able to keep their attention nice and calm. And let's see if we can get a chance to do that again later today.
Yeah, let's do that again. We've got a nice excerpt of Shri Mataji, the founder of Sahaja Yoga, talking about what happens if you go too much in the right side. I thought before we go there, and then we'll also have our second meditation after that, that we might talk about the value of the right side, because the left and the right side we utilize, and of course the central channel, which is something we'll dwell on next week. But so we have we talked or dwelt on last week that the good part of the left side is the pure emotions and the good desires. And of course, in order to enact those good ideas and lovely creative inspirations, we need the right side. So that's the use and the value of the right side. But as humans, we do like to go too far into things, and that's when the problems of life come about. So that's why we're talking about balancing and things like that, so that we don't go too far. A little bit of everything.
Yeah, and Lynn, spot on. Like our right side is our side of action.
Yeah.
And so all our desires need to be actioned in some way. And that's what our right side enables us to do. So it is essential for us as people to use our right side for everything that we action. Otherwise, ideas will always remain ideas, and we won't be able to participate in our everyday. So the opportunity with our right side is our well-balanced right side helps us action things at home, action things at work, action things with friends, and like all the handy work that we do is all given to us by our right side. So having a good, healthy right side is really important because that helps us get things into action in the most spontaneous and the most beautiful way.
Yeah.
But where we start to overthink the action and we let our ego and our I-ness get in the way, then perhaps sometimes we overcook what needs to be done.
Yeah. We get too much into the result instead of the doing.
Yeah. And so this is I guess where we do need to keep that balance.
Yeah.
So our right side is essential for us. And having techniques available to us is really important. And so the two centers within our subtle system that help us with that action is our right Swadhisthana, which is the second energy center, but on the right hand side, and our right Nabi, which is the energy center on the third energy center on the right hand side.
Yes.
And
Area, and then the stomach area.
that's right, in the stomach area. And these energy centers are actually responsible for our attention and the quality of our attention. So when we get, in Sahaja Yoga term, we call it right-sided. But if we overuse our right side of action, then our attention is impacted.
Yeah.
And our ability to think systematically gets impacted by that. And so very often I'll come home from work and I'll be quite flustered because of the insane number of things that have happened at work.
Yeah.
And that has thrown me away from my balance, and I've ended up using my right side to plan and to action things a lot more than what's healthy. And so when I'll come home, I'll find that even though I'm sitting on the couch with a cup of tea in my hand, which is what I do to try and relax after a day of work, my attention is still bouncing around everywhere. And that's often because the overactivity of our attention, which is caused by excessive heat in our right side. So techniques like putting an ice pack onto your liver for 5-7 minutes, making sure it's not too cold and it's not directly on your skin, is one of the techniques that I find really helpful. And then the other thing I find really helpful is a foot soak.
And the temperature surprisingly affects left and right side. If you have it warm, it'll get you, if you're feeling a bit lethargic, that'll help you. If you're feeling, all the thoughts and racing from the day, then the colder it is, that'll bring you back into the center as well.
Yeah, and to be honest, having a cold foot soak in Canberra in winter can be a bit of a challenge. So yeah, I try and go for something that is comfortable, so I don't miss my foot soaks, because that's a really important part of bringing the right side back to its normal functioning. So it's not overactive, and it helps with the stability of the attention, which you use not just for the action, but also for your thought process. And it also helps the left side. So, yeah, those foot soaks and those ice packs and keeping our right side functioning well is a really important aspect of keeping us healthy and balanced throughout the day.
And if you can get your feet into the ocean, which I recently am able to do, even better, because we're simulating an ocean in that bucket, actually.
Yeah, and every time I go to the beach, I take that opportunity to start off with a 5-10 minute foot soak.
Yeah.
Because it really draws that heat from our right side, and takes that overactivity away. Just that power of the ocean is so significant and fabulous in clearing out our right side.
The nature really does. You do feel the effects of nature helping us. Nature's there just helping us. Feeling good with a lovely view and sucking out all the heat into the earth and the water. So let's have a look at this video now. It's an excerpt. It's only 10 minutes. And then maybe we'll have another meditate after that, Rishi.
Sounds great.
All right. Here we go.
Both things are wrong to go to extremes on the right or to the left. Now let's see what happens physically. As I told about the cancer on the left hand side that we do. Physically, what happens to people who are futuristic? We have a center, especially for futuristic behavior, called as Swadhisthana chakra, which is in the gross manifesting the plexus called the aortic plexus within us. Now this Swadhisthana chakra is very important for human beings, especially for people who are developed people. With this chakra, actually, we convert the fat of the stomach for the use of the brain. Now this is the center of the Surya, of the sun. Now when we start thinking, these cells are converted in such a way that they become useful to the brain. Now if you are thinking all the time you are thinking, then what will happen? I mean, the horns are not going to grow out of that. You are consuming all that. And when you are consuming all those cells, you have to have replacement. And for that replacement, this Swadhisthana chakra has to work very hard to convert the cells for the use of your brain. Now, when it is doing that, there are other things which this Swadhisthana chakra has to look after. For example, your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys, all are to be looked after by this center, and also uterus for the ladies. Now, when there's only one work is given to this Swadhisthana chakra, and it cannot do any other work, then other things are neglected, so you develop a terrible disease called liver trouble. Now, liver trouble is another thing that you do not feel yourself. Others know that you are liverish, the way you are hot-tempered, the way you are fussy, the way you always snarl at people, and the way you are never satisfied with anything, the way you criticize others. All this is liverish, and such liverish people are never happy with themselves, because liver looks after their attention. And those who have liver problems, their attention is horrid. That goes like this. See, you cannot keep your attention straight. On the street, you will walk straight into a car because you are looking at something which you are not supposed to look. But all the time you're looking at like this, you cannot walk. I mean, you won't find any animal like that who walks like this, but only human beings do it. If you see them on the street, you'll be amazed, where are they walking? They don't walk straight, they don't walk straight, but their eyes are going this way, that way, because the attention is wobbly. The attention is wobbly because of a bad liver. So this liver is a very, very important thing. Now this liver has a special capacity to extract all the poisons from the body as heat. And the heat in the body is to be transformed or should be conveyed to the blood or the water in the blood, and that has to be taken out of your body, maybe as perspiration or in another forms. But what happens that when this liver is out of gear, it cannot do it. It cannot pass this heat into the bloodstream, and the heat remains in the body, and you really become heated, and that heat makes all these problems for you. So in Sahaja Yoga, what happens that when Kundalini rises, she changes the form of the blood. The hydrogen and oxygen which are placed because of this heat and all that, in a very funny way, like this, like that, and they start receiving this heat within them. That's why those people who have bad livers feel little heat when the Kundalini rises. But one can cure it by giving it that peace and comfort to that liver organ, and you can definitely cure your liver, no doubt about it. Then the second thing that happens to you is the pancreas, which gives you diabetes. Only a person who thinks too much gets a diabetes. For example, an Indian farmer doesn't know what diabetes is, but then you stop your sugar. But that's not the way to stop your diabetes. Diabetes comes to you because you think too much. The doctors won't understand this. That's why they say it is incurable. But because they cannot connect thinking with the disease. And this is what happens when you are all the time thinking like mad, then diabetes takes place. And this diabetes is also curable if you get your enlightenment. You can cure also the diabetes of other people, but because this vital power, which is integrated of all these three powers, flows through you, and you can replenish, you can give more to other people who are exhausted of it, and sort of you can fill them up with this power, and you can get. The third one is the worst of all that happens to people is blood cancer because of spleen. Spleen is one thing very important, that it is the center of peace within us. The one who doesn't have a proper spleen cannot be a peaceful person. Now, it's a very simple thing, but doctors cannot connect it, nor all science-oriented people can connect it to something very, very simple. And the simple thing is that when we eat our food, if we are frantic, we are out to get trouble with the spleen, and we can get blood cancer. Now, if the mother is of that temperament or a father is of that temperament, the children might be born with blood cancer. Now, we will be happy to tell you that in New York, we had a case of blood cancer. And when I was in India, in a village, somebody came and told me that such and such boy is sick. He's only 16 years with blood cancer, and doctors have declared that he's going to die within 2 weeks' time. They always declare, they are good at declaration only. And when this case came to me, I told them that I cannot do anything, I'm in a village, but you can telephone to one of the Sahaja Yoginis. She was in England, now she's in New York, and she will look after this case. You'll be amazed that the boy was cured completely. He came out of the hospital, came to see me, and now he's gone back to his studies. I mean, like this we have cured many cases of blood cancer. But here we are not to cure people by any or healing anyone. That's not our job. It happens spontaneously as a byproduct of the Kundalini awakening. Main thing is we have to make you doctors. We have to make you knowledgeable people. We have to make you collectively conscious human beings who have to enter into the kingdom of God to reside there in His peace, bliss, and joy. Now, this trouble of kidney, of high blood pressure, all that is due to this. People worry, they are frantic, you see, and this franticness comes to us just as a matter of habit. I have known people, as soon as you say, oh, you have to go by aeroplane or somewhere, suddenly the aeroplane word triggers that frantic, oh, they get mad. They don't know what they are up to. They will forget their passport, they will forget their luggage, they forget this, they're frantic. At the airport if you go, you'll find this left navi, as we call it, this center is the spleen goes frantic. Now, when you eat your food or do any such work, there is an emergency created and more blood is needed to digest that food. So this spleen, poor thing, works very hard to create that extra amount of blood cells. But at the time you are eating, you are also reading a newspaper. That's the worst thing one should do in the morning. Horrible. You read the newspaper, you are eating the food, the spleen goes off because another emergency comes up. Then you get onto your bicycle, eat a sandwich in the hand, is even worse than that. And you are rushing to your work, suddenly you find a big jam on the way, then you are even very badly placed with the situation and you get so frantic and you don't understand. And the person who is in front of you goes saying, oh, what's wrong with this fellow? Why can't he drive fast? And the same fellow is saying something exactly the same to the another fellow who is going ahead. So this mad race is on, this rat race is on, and if you are eating your food in such a hurry and in such franticness, you develop this trouble which is very dangerous called as blood cancer, and among young people is very common. Now the last and not the least is the trouble of the heart. When you pay too much attention to all these outward things, to material things, to your all material advancement, to your physical advancement, and to so much of computerization of your brain, then you neglect the necessary attention to your spirit which resides in your heart. And so the spirit recedes. And when the spirit receives, you get a heart attack. Only a person who is right-sided gets a heart attack, and never a person who is a left-sided. I told this to a doctor, and he told surprisingly that in a mental hospital, we never meet a cardiograph. We do not need it. They never get a heart attack. A mad man never gets a heart attack. Surprisingly, a person who is mad is using his heart, his left side, his emotions, and his heart should go out. But no, his brain goes out. Can you imagine? And the one who uses the brain, his heart goes out. This is the balance created by nature in us. See how cleverly the nature is trying to guide us in the center. Don't go to the extremes. Keep to the center. Keep to the center. And then when you are absolutely in the center, then you get your evolution very quickly. So this is the right side that we have, the futuristic side, and as you know, we are all very futuristic by temperament.
So time gets away from us very quickly, even when we think we've got lots, but let's just meditate for a bit longer. Maybe Chaitanya can play a bit of flute for us while we meditate. And so we can just take our attention up to the top of our head with our hand and get to that place that Rishi took us to before. And also don't forget, we will give the link to the talk so you can hear the rest of it. Yeah, so stay with us for the end, and also if you have any questions. But just now, let's just take our attention on the top of our head, just a little bit above or where you felt that breeze blowing earlier. You can press down and then just raising the hand. Just establish your attention there. Bring the two hands open on your lap. bandhan, which is our finishing and beginning gestures that we do. I'll just put a little slide for those of you who are new to doing that. Actually, I was going to. Do you have that slide, Chaitanya? Maybe not. I'll do it. Here it is. Here. We are. That's the gestures. So we're raising our Kundalini with our left hand. The right is winding around. Give the right side something to do. Left side with desire. We come up to the top of our head and tie a knot. Do that 3 times. This is the second time, 2 knots. We really want to keep our attention up there. 3rd time, left hand's rising up, right hand's winding round, and 3 knots to finish with our Kundalini at the top of our head. And then we're going to protect ourselves with what's called a bandhan. So the right hand starts from the left side, goes over to the right side. So we're making a nice little cocoon of vibrations, 7 times over and back. So the theory being that we're protecting our 7 energy centers by going 7 times over and back. And this is the point where we forget what number we're up to. And that's approximately 7, I'm sure. And then the last thing I was going to share, and if you have any questions, of course, don't forget, you just pop onto Zoom and put it in the chat if you have any questions. Just stop sharing that for a minute and share the website address for the talk. And yeah, as I said, don't forget any questions. We'll put the link in the WhatsApp group as well. So all is revealed. So that's the talk. Also the link. So if you want, you could use your phone and take a snap of that, or wind it back on the video if you wanted to. And we'll put it in the WhatsApp groups as well. It's nice to listen to the whole talk if you can during the week. And we'll, if you've got any questions there, feel free. Otherwise, we'll catch up again next week. I'm not sure why the subtitles keep coming onto YouTube. It's just randomly started doing that, but we don't normally need them because the excerpt has already got subtitles on it. So apologies for that. I'll look into that during the week and get that to go off. So Chaitanya, do we have any nice awkward questions? Difficult questions? Thank you. Thanks everyone. And I guess we'll come back next week and maybe talk about the central channel, all those lovely automatic things. Thanks Rishi for posting that in the chat. Rishi, do you have any questions?
No, I've really enjoyed being a part of the program today and looking forward to attending the next one.
Yes, I look forward to having you with us more often. That'll be great. So thank you very much for a lovely meditation. Thank you all for joining. And a little bit over time, but you get that sometimes when you're having fun. And so join you next week for a nice meditation together. Thank you all. Maybe we'll put on some music again for you to listen to if you want to carry on meditating for a bit. I'll just randomly choose some here and say good night to everyone. We'll have some nice Chennai, which always makes me feel very meditative. I don't know about you, Rishi. We've got Vishnu Khan performing the farewell music. Oops, bring it up here. Night all. Good night, all.